started realizing that I should move to New York because I was coming to New York to see stuff like this great movie by Laura Cottingham, Not for Sale, that was all about feminist art. There was a feminist art revival happening at the time in the city. And I was super psyched, and I started going to lectures with all of my feminist heroes. And, you know, I would go to these lectures or these panel discussions and I would feel like, you know, like Mary Beth Edelstein is in the audience, or, you know, Carolee Schneemann or Lorraine O'Grady was the moderator. And I was totally fucking freaking out. It was like seeing The Who for me. And so I was just like, I have to be in New York. And so I came to New York, and when I got here, I'd already talked to my really good friend Johanna Fateman, and she was making electronic music, and I had done the Julie Ruin record, and I don't know, we just were like planned on the phone, when I come up there, let's get together and try and make the Julie Ruin record into a stage show. And I mean, I never would have been in a band again in my whole life. I'm convinced of it, if it wasn't for my friendship with Johanna. We got a practice space, and we started trying to relearn stuff that I just made up in my apartment and record it without thinking about how to save it or anything, because my sampler didn't save sounds. So none of it existed anymore except for on my reel-to-reel. So we had to go back and try and replay everything, and we literally just had whatever equipment people would give us, because we were both really broke. I mean, really broke. I just moved to New York with $400, so I was like, fucked. And we took a lot of bubble baths reading instructional manuals and then calling each other on the phone explaining how to work things. And then we'd meet up, and it was a real trial by fire. I mean, we did not know what the hell we were doing, and we completely taught each other. And it was such a great friendship time for me. So we started making dance music. But one thing that remained the same was my obsession with having people understand what we were about. So we had projection behind us, and in certain songs we had actually the lyrics, and we would ask people to sing along. So it was kind of like the, 2002 version of the lyric sheet. We also had matching outfits, and we did choreographed dancing, and part of what we were trying to do is take a more positive imagery from our childhoods of like the fun slumber party where you like imitate, Sandy from Grease or High School Musical or whatever, and make it like that vibe of like, we're putting on a show. And we also kind of wanted to fuck with the whole punk idea of like, you just go on stage in your jeans and like go like that. You know what I mean? Like, we wanted to actually give a present to our audience and to our community and celebrate what we had all created together. I love singing Hot Topic live. It's just a really incredibly enjoyable song. It's in the perfect range for me. I was also listening to a lot of Stevie Wonder, and he has songs totally about what was going on in the Black community, what was going on in terms of civil rights, total shout out songs, and I was like, I want to write a song like that for my generation of women who are making art, and not just women, but just like freaks of all kinds who are making work. And like when we were at Hot Topic, we weren't even called Les Tigre. We were Joe and Kathleen in a practice space in a sub-basement on Mott Street.
The first time I saw Kathleen perform was actually at the first Le Tigre show, which I was doing the slides for at Dumba in Brooklyn. And it was majorly punk rock, except for actually before that I was at the rehearsal space in like Nolita, is that what that's called? And because I went to their rehearsal, I was like the first person that saw them playing together. and that was really cool.
So I started writing Keep On Living, and it was kind of a response. It was kind of born out of writing the section for the website about if people had experienced sexual abuse or domestic violence and they were looking for somewhere to turn, like here's the places to turn. And we read our friend Anne Spetkovich's book, and she had this amazing essay about the connections, the intersections between coming out as a lesbian and sexual abuse, and where do those things intersect. And one of them being hopefully a joyous experience, and one of them being kind of more of a bummer, but there also being a bummer aspect of coming out of people, you know, not accepting. And a light just went off in me and JD of like, I was stuck in the song and I couldn't write the rest of it, and I was like, you write it.
I remember coming home, and at the time I was living in the West Village, like in someone else's apartment, and I remember coming home and thinking, like, I need to write a rap that's, like, about my coming out story and about how I was so down and out and that felt like I couldn't move on, but that I wanted to, you know, push forward and have positivity in my life, you know? And I think that was really what I wanted to say, and I think what came out. And I remember writing it, I remember being like, this is cheesy, this is so cheesy. And then I remember kind of coming in and showing it to Joe and Kathleen and them really liking it. And yeah, that song means a lot to a lot of people, and it means a lot to me too. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you don't know that you are writing something because actually you really want to hear that. You want to remember and remind yourself that those are the things that you need to think about when you're feeling like shit, you know? So the song's really important to me too. I mean, it saved my life in this way, you know?
Stupid shit just makes you cry. You find out you want that more. You gotta keep on. Gotta keep on. You gotta keep fucking on.